What's that? Oh, it's only a motor car. But they always give me a bit of a shock. I'll never get used to them. Picnickers, no doubt. Not much peace for an owl here during the day. I think I'll move. And yet I don't know. I always find picnickers interesting. Well, just look at the amount of clobber they cart around. All this paraphernalia just for a snack. How complicated their lives must be compared to ours. And yet, you know, they seem to do very well. They're never short of food. They've always got stacks of it stored up in boxes. And we just live from day to day entirely dependent on what grows here, what lives here, and what dies here. Must be nice to be able to feed just whenever you feel like it. Clever humans. Still, they're quite a nice family. I think I've seen them before, though, haven't I? Yes, of course I have. They came here last year and the year before. Had a picnic lunch, and then Dad went off to sleep. Typical of the male animal, that. Gorges itself into a stupor with food, and then lies down beside the remains. Mum reads her magazine, and the restless nippers scuttle off into the forest. I remember now, they were on their way to spend their holidays somewhere on the south coast. And no doubt they're doing exactly the same thing this year. I remember I followed them just to see what they'd do. They're being quite venturesome, aren't they? Well, not many people bother to probe far into the forest nowadays. They usually scream straight through in motor cars or picnic by the roadside. Well, there's nothing much to do here, and the human animal likes something to do, but he knows what he wants to do. There's a wistful, distant look in his eye. He'd like to pitch a tent and live here forever, but he knows that he can only stay for half an hour. A half an hour. Half an hour last year, half an hour this year, and perhaps half an hour next year. Just half an hour till Dad finishes his nap and wants to push on to Bournemouth. Not very long, half an hour, is it? In a whole year of time. If they'd stayed here for a year, I wonder how they would have liked it. A whole year in the forest, as we see it. All alone among the fine high trees in hot, high summer. Only a few hundred yards away from the mad main road, and all is calm and quiet. The trees stand stiff and still, listening, watching. Just a gentle fallow deer. What sensitive, shy creatures they are. They so want to love the world, and yet they know the wicked world so loves to eat them. I don't think there's anything more feminine than a fallow deer. Well, Perhaps not you. But they're pretty quiet today. Nothing worrying them. No danger about. The sun warm on their soft backs. The bucks, like all male animals, are always sparring about, tangling and clattering those wonderful antlers of theirs. The does leave them to it. They're not a bit interested in this boorish display, at least not at this time of the year. There they are, at it again. I wonder how they'd feel if someone told them that their headgear made such useful hat racks. Nevertheless, they know how to show off. Look at them, like a pride of medieval barons in their top-heavy coronets. And the lovely summer days dawdle away, the sun, day by day, gradually getting weaker, finding it harder to push through the straggling early morning mists, finding it harder to sop up the dewdrop cobwebs. Look, there's an early morning rabbit. And there's a late night badger. What's he heard? Something over there. It's that fine-looking buck shouting the odds. He's simply letting everyone know that he's the king of the castle. It's the mating season. The herd's split up now, each buck claiming as many does as he can for himself. He's doing all right. He just keeps up this constant bawling to warn any passing bachelor buck that he'd better keep away from these ladies because they're booked. He even goes to rest, yelling jealous vengeance to all. But now, summer's rich wedding feast is over. She slipped discreetly away and left her sad confetti sprinkled on the forest pool. The delicate decorations that fluttered so bravely are withering slowly away. Soon the sturdy forest ponies will bite tight at the forest floor. The trees stand bare and old like stone pillars in a ruined church, and the first chill draught of winter comes shivering through the dead leaves. I wonder if I can spot them now that the leaves are down. Quite difficult. Ah, there's one. A squirrel. Hey, squirrel, do you miss the shady leaves? It's no good trying to hide. We can see you. And you, what are you trying to hide? Putting something by for the winter? From now on, things are gonna get tough. All we've got are summer's leftovers to last us through the winter. Well, don't eat it so quickly. I know, but how long will the food last? Is there enough for everyone? There's usually enough for you, isn't there? Oh yes, he's the cunning one, all right. But he's already got to work a little harder for his keep. And the deer crop closer and closer to the ground. But they're all right for a bit. Look at them, lissom and sleek, the rich oil of summer shining in their coats. They're all right for a while, until the pasture is cut to death by the first quick razor slash of frost. Frozen forest, stiff and petrified with frost, rigid, crimped and cramped with cold. It terrifies a frightened silence into everything, until the soft, consoling snow brings milder air and kinder touch. There's one thing about the snow. You do know who's about, even though you can't always see. There's a lonely fallow deer, tiptoeing her timid tracks in the snow. Pretty feet she's got. Ah, she's found the rest of the herd. There's the galumph of a bunny rabbit. The footpad of a jaunty fox. Look, fox and rabbit cross tracks. They just miss one another. No other sign of life. The rest of the forest sleeps its heavy winter sleep. Wonder if the badgers have been brave enough to put a paw out yet. No. Well, he hasn't come out of the front door, but he's used the back entrance. Yes, that's him. Can't mistake that great fist, can you? But that's as far as he got. It was too cold for him. He turned round and crept back to his stuffy underground bed. But the life stream of the forest keeps pulsing away, and fed by the melting snows flows deep and full. It always comes as a surprise the day when things look slightly different. It's still winter, but the trees begin to look kinder. The tree creeper walks up his garden wall with a bit more purpose. The nuthatch, in a tiny fury, hammers his head and digs for dinner. Things are moving. Life is starting again. Down underground, the badgers in their set are nursing their young cubs. The wood ants in their rough, dug-up field headquarters are planning their spring offensive. And the whole arena of nature awaits the struggle for life to surge into action. The woodlark sounds his sweet clarion from above. With honeyed tones he tempts the wild bees from their hidey-hole in the tree. They waken the ravenous ants with a promise of scavenge and plunder. Here they come, the scrambling rabble. See how they stick their army boots in one another's faces. The earth's beginning to tremble. There's something in the air that makes you want to go whee! The squirrels are quite versatile tree dwellers. Some build their drays in holes in the trees. Others build out on the branches. But most of the forest starts to life without any fuss at all. The wood anemones and primroses come up quietly to stare. But what's the matter with the curlew? What's he seen to make such a fuss about? Ah, yes, the vixen. She's left her tugging, suckling cubs underground and come up for a little peace and sunshine. But she's fretting to get back, really. There she goes. And your eggs are all right. You're safe to come in and land now, behind the gorse bushes. It suddenly exploded into bloom and splattered the heathland with freckled yellow. Now what's that? Where is he? Over there? No, there. I can't see him. There he goes. You see him? Yes, that's him. A tiny tip and twitter dodger. The artful Dartford warbler. He's very difficult to spot. That's his missus. And that's himself again, pert and cocky as a weather vane. His wife is not quite so showy, but glad to be out and about. And they're quite glad to be out and about too. The vixens just brought them out from their cradle in the deep, dark earth. To them, it must seem like being born again. Go on, get him. You've got to learn how to kill. It's all right. You can safely sleep. Mum's watching over you. They're growing quickly now, sprouting up with the young forest bracken, a ragtaggled bunch of young tearaways. But they're never very far away from Mum. They've got a lot to learn yet. And they're still very dependent on her. Aren't you hungry then? There goes the ranging buzzard, back to his nest in the tall trees over there. They're growing hard now, sucking up the sap, spurting out the leaves, quivering with the excitement of breathing and living again. And look who's come out now. The badger, taking her young cubs out for an afternoon stroll and a lesson or so in forest foraging. Always nicely groomed, the badger, with well-brushed hair and smart peppermint-striped eyebrows. Look at Willie there, the spitting image of his mother and father. It's very unusual for badgers to be about at this time of the day. They're not often seen when the sun's high in the sky. They usually stay underground in their set until the early evening, and then, unseen in the dusk, they come out and do their grubbing and feeding in the dark. But this happy family seem quite at ease in the daylight. They look as though they do it every day, on the scrounge for what their noses dig up for them. Grubs and snails and bluebell bulbs. What a diet. These two are even thinking of having a little snooze. But you can't leave three kids feeding together for very long before they start mucking about. There we go, you see? No, stop! No, don't! You're tickling me! You're tickling me! You don't! Oh! the forest has put out its full festival bunting to welcome the summer visitors. Here's one of them, the red-backed shrike. He can wave goodbye without turning round. There's his snug little home and future family. 2 girls, 2 boys? I wonder. That's his nest proud, prim and proper missus. Not far away, another red-backed shrike has laid an uncommon number of eggs in her nest. 12, I think. There's the hen bird settling herself down to incubate. Comfy? It can't be. Must be like sitting on a rockery. But what's this? Another hen. Go on, get out of it. Go on, get out of it. Go on, go on. The idea. This is my nest. Huh. Oh, it isn't. It's my nest. I was there first. Oh, no, you weren't, my lady. This is mine. Oh, dear, what a muddle. You see what's happened, don't you? They've both laid their eggs in the same nest, and both want to sit on them. Well, somebody's in the wrong. Who? Neither will give in. They're as bad as human beings. But where's father? He's sloped off. He's nowhere to be seen. Do you think he's led both these ladies up the forest glade? It looks like it. It's the eternal triangle again with a dozen eggs thrown in. But once a woman makes up her mind, and then 2 women make up their mind, well, they're going to stick it out for the sake of the children. But, my dear, the atmosphere. But the atmosphere where the little foxes live is much about the same. Homey and matey. They've grown a bit in the last few weeks. Their chubby, cubby bodies have drawn out rangy and lean, and the thin slit of deceit has opened in their eyes. But the vixen decides it's time they had a longer, deeper sniff at the big, wicked world, and she leads them off through the bracken, up the hill. Come on, you 2, stop mucking about, time's getting on. Come on. And now look who's turned up. A rare visit from the old lag dog fox. He's upset the fractious stone chat and missed the family, but what does it matter? They've left a picking of something cold to get on with. And the whole forest grows lush and rich with summer. Just look at the grass growing taller every day, concealing, hiding more and more. I wonder if there's one lying out there now. Yes, there he is, a soft and velvet fawn. He knows exactly how to behave. Born with the strong instincts of fear and caution, he just lies in the place his mother's chosen for him. He won't move. He just waits for her to come and feed him. The ponies have had their foals too. They just idle the summer days away, and their fodder grows all around them. And there he is again in the gorse bushes, over there. Or is he there? No, there he is. the Dartford warbler, with a grasshopper he just caught on the hop. He hasn't got much time to warble with now. He's got a family to feed. You don't get a minute, really. Well, sometimes, well, it's a job to know which way to turn. But they're doing all right. And so are they. Look, he's growing his antlers again. And so is he. And he knows that soon he's going to look heraldic and wonderful. They're just a bit on the knobbly side at the moment, though. There's the doe and her fawn, grazing, contented and calm. But in a timid, anxious world, the slightest suspicion shown by any silly neurotic springs a little panic. Now, come on, there's nothing to worry about. That's right, just a drop to soothe the nerves. And up in the towering trees, the bird with a head for heights, the buzzard, watches proudly over her one and only little fluffykins. The wild bees are off, on the lookout for anything that'll lead them to honey. To the pretty scented heather honey, any honey, and the delicate silver-washed fritillary, daintily sipping nectar. But the bees know that if they don't build up their stores for the winter, they'll die. And the only thing to do is work and work and work. You must work while the going's good. And with the red-backed shrike, the going's good. There's bags of food here for everyone. So choke back as much as you can, you shrieking lot of shrikes. Go on, go and get some more. And you see that lonely lady shrike? Remember her? And her? They were the two who laid in the same nest, but the eggs never hatched out. They were infertile. Sad for them, isn't it? But it's not sad for him, though. He's itching to get away, rubbing off the humiliating down of childhood. He wants to be a man. But he still demands food from his mother. Why not? He has a right to be fed. He's a nasty, spoiled, one and only buzzard boy. Go on, kill something else for me. And away she goes. And down below, in the shade of the trees, the forest dozes and buzzes in the lazy summer afternoon, and the birds are almost too tired to sing. And the first tickle of an early evening breeze rustles the hot afternoon from its stupor. The timid ones come out to twitch and sniff the air. Here come the badger family. They don't bother about lunch as a rule. They prefer a good evening meal. Yes, it's all right, you can come out, no one about. You know, it's wonderful to be in the fresh air again. Well, you imagine being stuck down in the dirt in a hot fur coat all day long. When you come out, you feel really crummy. You've got to try to freshen up somehow. A good scratch. Oh, lovely. And then get someone to bite you in the places where you can't reach. You do the same for him, of course. There's something rather nice about this mutual grooming. You give as good as you get. And that's how things should be. Bit lower. Down a bit. Lower down. No, you haven't quite got it yet. Ah, that's it. Ah. Makes you feel itchy just watching them. Well, yes, but I mean, you've got to get the stuff out. It's like dry mud in a mat. What's that there? That's something I must have picked up somewhere. The extraordinary part of the whole business is that when you've really cleaned yourself up, it makes you feel like wanting to roll about in the dirt again. Now look at them over there. There they go. One badger badgering another badger. And they roister and romp through the forest, the rough and tumble badgers until a twinge of hunger takes them off on the scrummage along their own forest paths, where they take potluck with nature every night. taking potluck with nature. Well, there you are. They've had their half an hour in the forest for this year, and now they're off on their holidays. Have a good time. See you next year. I wonder. We'll still be here, I expect, all being well.